Welcome back everyone once again to my channel, Kytto Explained. And brothers, thank you so much for all the support on the last part. And today in this video, you're going to see how Yuhao walks straight into that Sun Moon Empire camp where more than 600,000 soldiers were stationed, and the conversation that takes place there might just reveal the biggest and most shocking secret of this entire story, the painful truth between Tianran and JuZi, where JuZi actually wants to finish her own husband, and those complicated feelings between Yuhao and JuZi that can never be fully put into words. And now the question is whether Yuhao will go along with what JuZi wants, and whether the war will truly be put on hold for the next 10 years. Stay with us in this video, but before we move forward, let's do a quick recap of what happened in the last part. In the last part, Yuhao's fight happened with Tian, and we saw how Tian was completely dominating Yuhao and wanted to trap him forever in the Great Stardew Forest and destroy his cultivation. But right then, the Sun Moon Empire also launched an attack on him, and Zhongli Wu had driven an entire sphere straight into his chest. But even then, Tian managed to escape, though the Holy Ghost Church people were still chasing after him to hunt him down, after which we see Yuhao heal his body and head back out toward the Sun Moon Empire to meet JuZi. And now moving forward in this episode, we see that after getting his second soul core, Yuhao no longer needed a flying soul tool at all. And now at his supersonic speed, he could go anywhere he wanted, and beyond a certain speed, he felt as though he was on the verge of breaking through space itself. And right there, it clicked for him that Tian's space transcendence wasn't some kind of magic, but the result of extreme speed combined with a deep understanding of spatial laws. And he became certain that one day he too would get there, after which in just a few moments he covers 50 kilometers and arrives above the Sun Moon Empire camp. And here's the interesting part. He didn't have to fear a single soul tool because his imitation ability had now reached its peak level, and now he didn't just imitate but actually transformed, even into the air itself, meaning he literally became the wind, something that even a beast god like Tian had never done. After which, spreading his spiritual detection like a massive net, Yuhao covers the entire camp and very quickly locates the person he was looking for and descends straight into the base. And there JuZi was sitting in her seat looking a little lost in thought. There was a strange uncertainty in her eyes, and she was actually thinking about Yuhao, because she had personally seen Tian strike him with a sword during the day, and that's exactly why she had made that seemingly reckless decision to attack Beast God, and everything else was within her control. It was just Yuhao's actual condition she didn't know. After which suddenly a clear voice echoes directly inside JuZi's mind asking, "May I come in?" And she looks up and asks, "Who is it?" But right then she realizes that this voice didn't come from outside the tent, but directly from inside her mind. And without thinking, she had covered her mouth with her hand. And before anything else could happen, several elite guards from the Fire Phoenix Soul Engineer Legion rush into the tent and ask Marshall what happened, after which JuZi composed herself and said nothing. Maybe it was just a misunderstanding. You can all head back. After which the guards leave in confusion, and JuZi quietly places her hand on the chair's handle and activates a spiritual barrier around her tent. And only one thought remains in her mind: has he truly come? After which that voice echoes again and says JuZi. And this time, JuZi's heart stopped for just a moment because Yuhao was standing right in front of her without any warning whatsoever. After which Yuhao takes her hand and pulls her toward him, and here an entire film played out in JuZi's mind, and subconsciously she tried to grab the chair's handle with her other hand, but stopped herself because Yuhao wasn't forcing her, which is why she held herself back. And a strange sadness crept into her heart, wondering whether this is the decision she had finally made today. And she stood there with her eyes closed. She had multiple ways to get away from Yuhao because the entire tent was filled with traps, but she hadn't done anything yet. And for just a moment, it felt as if dying at his hands would perhaps be the greatest relief. After which Yuhao places his hand on her shoulder and a pitch black door appears behind her, and with a flash, both of them disappear into that door. And seeing this happen, JuZi felt as if her soul had left her body. And when she opens her eyes, she sees that she's standing on a small hill with a large base visible in the distance where soul engineers were training. After which, JuZi asks Yuhao in surprise where this place is, and Yuhao smiles and replies that it's my own space. And then JuZi asks in surprise whether he can control spatial power, to which Yuhao was genuinely stunned at how quickly she figured it out. After which, JuZi says that being the war god Empress, her experience is extensive, and she had understood that this was no ordinary spatial power, but an entirely independent plane, and not even Tian himself could have created something like this. And here's something worth knowing. Everything was now crystal clear to JuZi that all the attacks on the Sun Moon Empire had been Yuhao's doing. After which Yuhao asks, so was Tianran truly injured? And I regret not being able to kill him, because if he were dead, the Sun Moon Empire's army would collapse on its own. So JuZi laughs and says, I feel the same way, and it's a shame you didn't kill him. But know one thing, as long as I'm here, there will be no chaos in the Sun Moon Empire. So Yuhao asks in a cold voice, what if you die too? And hearing this, JuZi's smile becomes even more captivating, and she says, "Don't try to scare me, that trick won't work on me. I've understood you completely. And if you truly could kill me, you would have done it right there in the tent. So why would you bring me here?" After which Yuhao acknowledges and says, "Yes, I can't kill you, but since you've now seen my biggest secret, do you think I'll just let you go?" So JuZi says that if I remain stuck here, Shrek City will be in danger because the first suspicion will fall on Shrek, and the Sun Moon Empire's army will attack there first. And if she can't send instructions, the army will set out on its own for revenge. And on top of that, in Tianran's eyes, this becomes the perfect excuse for an attack on Shrek. After which, JuZi says that if anyone commands this army without me, it will be Zhongli Wu, and you already know the enmity between the Holy Ghost Church and Shrek. He's been waiting for exactly this kind of opportunity, and just like breaking a dam releases all the water, he'll unleash everything. Meaning if Yuhao keeps her captive, the situation for Shrek City will become even worse. After which, JuZi calmly sits down, takes a sip of tea, and laughing says, "Go now, I'm fine here, just send me 3 meals a day, and someone like you needs to be at Shrek right now." After which, Yuhao takes a long breath and says, "JuZi, you know what, after listening to you, I almost felt like killing you." To which JuZi says, "Go ahead then. Just keep the body intact and bury it nicely. Honestly speaking, staying in your heart is more appealing to me. And if you kill me, you'll be restless your whole life. And always remember me. And truthfully, that alone would give me satisfaction. Come on, do it." After which she calmly closed her eyes with such peace that it seemed as if the fear of death didn't exist at all. And seeing this, Yuhao can't do a thing, and he quietly walks away from there. And taking a long breath in the cold air of the demiplane, he realizes that he has lost. He had gone to take JuZi captive, but in reality, she was the one who won. And on the other side, when JuZi opens her eyes, Yuhao isn't there. She stands up, and in a slightly irritated tone says, "This man has absolutely no conscience. I took the risk of fighting Beast God to save him, and men are truly jerks," and then bursts out laughing herself. After which, when Yuhao comes back and asks JuZi, "What do you actually want? Are you truly helping Tianran rule the entire continent? So many people will die, and on top of that, your own family died in the war, so why are you still continuing this war?" Hearing this, JuZi's face hardens, and she says, "If I weren't here, would this war not happen? Would the Sun Moon Empire drop its ambitions without me? I acknowledge that people die in war, but ever since I've been in command, the number of casualties is the lowest in history, and this continent deserves a powerful united nation. And since technology improves people's lives, unification is necessary, though who rules it is a separate matter entirely." After which Yuhao listened calmly and said that our views are different, JuZi. I cannot watch my people get attacked, and we are on opposing sides. Right now, the Sun Moon Empire is strong, but ruling the entire continent will not be so easy. And if things go wrong, it will be the civilians who suffer the most. After which JuZi says, "I don't need you to tell me all this. I went with Tianran for revenge, but now I have my son, and I need to carve a path for him." After which JuZi says, "You've seen it yourself what Tianran did to little Yunhan. And the last time it was you who saved him, and I can't even think about what would have happened otherwise, which is why I need to become strong and make my son the most powerful person in this world. I'm not fighting for Tianran, I'm fighting for my son, and if you're truly determined, I can share a secret you could never guess, but only if you make the decision to kill me." And hearing this, Yuhao asks in surprise, "What kind of secret is worth a life?" So JuZi smiles and says, "Only when you drive a blade through my heart will I tell you." After which Yuhao, with a slightly bitter laugh, says, "You've understood me completely. You know I won't raise my hand against you, and that's exactly why you're so calm." And then he says, "What if I deliberately try to damage the Sun Moon Empire?" To which JuZi, in a completely composed voice, says, "Go ahead and try. Let's see who gets there." So Yuhao, with a slight furrow in his brow, asks, "Do you feel absolutely no fear? Tianran has already been injured by me before." To which JuZi puts forward such a massive proposal that even Yuhao is left completely stunned. And she says, "Yuhao, if you can do one thing, perhaps I can delay the attack on the Douluo continent for some time." After which Yuhao asked curiously, "What is it?" So JuZi, turning completely serious, says, "Help me kill Tianran." Hearing this, the word "what" escapes Yuhao's mouth. "He's your husband? You want to kill your own husband?" To which JuZi laughs coldly and says, "Husband? He was never my husband. I was just a tool for him. And the day he decided to abandon my son, he owed me nothing. And very soon I will have to kill him anyway. Only then can my son sit on the throne. And if you can do this, I promise there will be no war for the next 10 years, and the Star Luo and dueling empires will get 10 more years to develop. And if you do this, the world will still remain divided into 3 parts." And hearing all of this, Yuhao truly felt as if he was meeting JuZi for the very first time, and he kept staring at her and couldn't say anything for quite a long time. After which Yuhao says, "JuZi, I didn't know you had become like this, and whatever the case may, Tianran is your son's father, and while I also want to see him finished, you shouldn't be the one to do it. To which JuZi's voice turns even colder, and she says if he were truly a father, he wouldn't have raised his hand against his own son. And then JuZi says something nobody expected. And she says that Tianran didn't just lose his legs in his brother's attack, he also lost his manhood. My son is only mine and has no connection to Tianran. To get a crown prince and stabilize the throne, he had me forcibly undergo artificial insemination. And do you even know how much I've endured all these years? After which tears were streaming down JuZi's face, and she was trembling. And this was actually the Sun Moon Empire's biggest secret, which if it ever got out, would bring destruction for both Tianran and JuZi. But in that moment, Yuhao wasn't thinking about any of that. He only understood just how much a woman had been wronged by her own husband, after which he quietly said, "Forgive me, JuZi. I had no idea about this." After which JuZi takes a few steps forward and comes right in front of him with only 30 centimeters between them. And then she says, "I don't want sorry. Just do this one thing for me. Kill Tianran and never harm little Yunhan. And if you can do this, I'll make sure there's no war for 10 years. And what do you think about all of this? Hearing all of this, Yuhao was genuinely moved because in 10 years, the Star Luo and Dueling empires could achieve so much, and he himself could become even stronger. But this was far too big a matter, so he said, "Let me think about it a little," to which JuZi agrees, and she assures Yuhao that no matter what, she won't attack Shrek City because she knows it's his home. So Yuhao asks her what your real target is. Is it the Dueling Empire or the Star Luo Empire? But JuZi just smiles and keeps looking without saying anything. After which Yuhao says, "Answer my question and then I'll send you back." So JuZi says, "Even if I tell you what's the use, the Academy people won't listen to you." And Yuhao acknowledged that yes, everything has already been calculated. After which JuZi steps a little closer and asks whether she is that good. And at this point, JuZi is referring to Yuhao's girlfriend, Tang. And the moment he hears this, Yuhao turns his face away, and he had no easy answer to this question. After which, tears start flowing from JuZi's eyes, and she says, "Yuhao, all I hope is that you'll remember. In this world, there are two people I will never harm. The first is my son, and the second is you." After which Yuhao feels the genuine emotion in her words, and he says, "I truly don't want to meet you on a battlefield, and at least right now we are still friends." After which JuZi asks whether he can give her a hug, to which Yuhao thought for a moment, and then opened his arms and gently embraced her without pulling her too close. After which JuZi gives him a light push and laughing says, "You're so patronizing, but even this much makes me happy." And then she suddenly turned around and ran outside. And stepping out, she looks far into the distance and says, "This truly is a magical place. I don't even know how a place like this exists, and I'm not going to ask either. Now just send me back, and I'll go back to being the War God Empress, and everything I said still stands the same." After which Yuhao took a long breath, and without reciting any incantation, that pitch-black door opened behind her, and with one hand on her shoulder, both of them step out through that door. And with this, our episode for today ends right here. But in the next episode, Yuhao is going to be both very funny and very romantic on one side, and on the other side, a situation is coming that will shake you to the core because the storm of Tang, Wutong's jealousy is coming, and even Ditian is nothing compared to it. And on top of that, a move from JuZi will surface that will make Yuhao himself hold his head in disbelief. And do let me know how you liked this part in the comments. And yes, get the 5,000 likes target done in this video again. And until then, bye-bye, take care.